have two questions. The first is, it seems that you do have the support of many people up on Capitol Hill. Do you know what the reluctancy is from the Treasury and the Bush administration to step in as a guarantor?
I can't tell you. I can't get into people's minds and hearts. I think that we have heard that we have a lot of support, but there are so many different moving pieces and parts that are taking place right now. The issue is this: we need to have not just support, but we have to have some urgent action that provides a comprehensive solution. You have 31 transit systems at a minimum that have these transactions. They represent hundreds of transactions. At MARTA in Atlanta, I've got 20, and some of them that are potentially triggering this week. And so the issue for us is really not about what's in people's hearts and souls at this point, but the need to actually go ahead, take deliberate action, and move quickly, because time is really just not on our side.
So that brings me to my second question. What specifically would you want Congress to include in a stimulus bill? What language would you be looking for?
We actually have some specific language that would in fact wind up just precluding, just putting the comprehensive fix on these, on the fact that these transactions were absolutely appropriate, and that there should not in fact wind up being an unanticipated set of wind downs that cause triggering events in these. Now, no question, the best fix in the world would be a legislative fix. But as the potential, if you will, for the stimulus seems to keep moving, and the fact that these transactions keep coming, we know that right now, under TARP, and we also believe that as a second strategy, the Federal Reserve can actually step up, that there are actions that we can in fact wind up taking today that will in fact wind up providing a comprehensive solution to the issue. And so we are urging in the strongest of terms that we not wind up getting into analysis paralysis, but that in fact action is taken, because as I'm saying very, very genuinely, that as we stand here, various of these hundreds of deals that are actually represented by us and those that aren't here today are having various of the different triggering events that are actually causing them to actually come to a issue. Yes.
I have two questions. Don't you think that the way the case was settled with Metro last week and KBC Bank will help you folks in your dealings with your banks and your triggers? And second of all, Secretary Paulson has said very clearly he is not going to step in and help you by stepping in to guarantee AIG and your other insurers. So are you perhaps asking Treasury or any other federal government agency to give you the money so you can buy the additional insurance that you need to replace your guarantors in these agreements, because that's what's causing the default?
Let me make a couple of observations. We are trying to do this on every front possible. So we've talked to Treasury, we're talking to the Federal Reserve, we're talking to the members of Congress. So once again, I come back with we're trying to take every single action and avenue that we can in order to wind up getting some type of relief. Okay. Now the issue is there is no question that, and I certainly don't know all of the specifics of the WMATA deal and would never ask them to wind up disclosing things on a settlement that I know that they can't. But certainly the WMATA bill was, what happened with that settlement was, we believe, favorable. But once again, we are talking about one transaction out of hundreds. And if everyone has to wind up playing this, how inefficient and ridiculous. If we in fact know that we have a set of solutions that will work, we've got a template. Nobody here is talking, first, there's no personal benefit. Nobody here is talking about not trying to in fact make sure that every doggone payment that's due is made, and all of them have been being made. What we are saying is that let's not be stupid. Let's take action that in fact winds up permitting these agencies to do what the public expects us to do, which is to provide absolutely quality service and not be sitting up here having to wind up playing all of these various legal maneuvers, which quite candidly may or may not be successful. I would hate to wind up thinking that my community and others were going to have to be dependent upon playing out 200 to 300 of these transactions and hoping that, in fact, at the end of the day, the settlements would wind up being comparable to what took place with Washington Metro.
I know you can't speak for Treasury, but why do you believe Secretary Paulson and his aides aren't listening?
You have to need the service that we provide on a daily basis for it to really get to you. And so I think sometimes that we can become too distant, any of us, this is not a personal thing, and not really appreciate that there are real people in communities around this country who are depending on us to get it right, and many of them who have no other opportunities. So if we have to start cutting service and slashing, as you heard Mike Wiley say from SAC-RT, not a game, 20% of his operating budget. And you got to walk that and feel it, I think, sometimes to understand how relevant it
You
is.
feel you're at the end of a long line, obviously. The automakers on Capitol Hill today, they are much higher profile than you guys.
Well, that's why we're here, because we got publics who are counting on us to try to get it right and to be their advocates. And so we're going to do everything that we need. We're not going to be shrinking violets. And so we're here, and we're here together.